Gary's a former director of the finance, the BSP finance. You're a former and current, right? You came back.
I was assistant.
Oh, you were
Never-
assistant.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
See.
Gary
listen.
hired me.
Oh my! So, wow. Well, what did you see in her, Gary? That like.
He didn't get a choice at the beginning. I came with the water company.
Yeah, and so when the city, yeah. I don't know how you explain the purchase. It's the weirdest purchase ever. When the city purchased the water company, nobody over in the big gray puzzle palace had any idea how to run a water utility. And as we were going through the transition,
Go ahead.
I started working with Jeanette and saw what a great worker she was, and she knew it head to bottom to top. It was an easy pick.
All right. Well, I
She
didn't
had a great
realize.
work ethic.
We learned together about water rates and establishing
Well, yeah, that must have been a
rates.
whole, big new workload, right?
Oh, it was, yeah, tremendous. It was like a separate company. It was a separate company in a sense.
Yeah. We had to keep it functioning separate because of the bond issues we had to, so immediately we had to take action for construction of 2 filtration plants. I don't know how many feet of line that we had to do.
Wow.
And do a rate increase that hadn't happened for many, many years and pass
Oh,
it
I
through the
forgot
public.
about that. That was a 3-year deal, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Wow. So then you went away to the power company, right, for a while?
So I worked for almost 16 years, 18 years total between my time with the water division and then over in the budget office.
Wow.
And then I left and went to work for PPL actually.
Oh, right.
First. And then after PPL was starting to sell off assets, then I did go to Northwestern for a year and then was asked to come back to be at Silver Bow as the director.
And so did you go directly from being director to Murdy, Gary?
Actually, I went from Butte Silver Bow to a company called Infrastructure Services, Inc. They were the ones that that was the project manager for the water company rehab. And then they also operated the Warm Springs ponds for ARCO. And then they also had some environmental cleanup projects. Then from there, I went to Murdy. That's where I've been.
When you guys were younger, what led you to the world of finance? Were you English majors and then, that's the old.
Oh.
It's the truth with me. I have a degree in journalism.
Right, I'd heard that.
And then I initially went to work for the Local Government Study Commission, the first one that consolidated the city and county. And then when that concluded, then Mayor Mike Micone asked if I would stay on, and he put me in the budget office to help the current, because at the time of the consolidation of the city and county, the accounting system was horrific and required a lot of effort to bring it up to speed. Years it took.
Wow.
So my background, mine was mainly always in accounting, but I was going to lean more towards becoming a lawyer, estate planning or some type of form of being a lawyer. But then I married a Butte guy. he had a job at Montana Power then, and so we ended up staying here. And at that time, it really wasn't a big option to do like online law school or anything. And I had the really good job at working from Washington Corp, and then was fortunate that Gary took me on in Butte Silver Bow over in the budget office, and I think it just worked. Butte Silver Bow has always been great to work for with work-life balance. Gary was always good and kind of showed us the way that you get your work done, but if you have to have flexible schedules sometimes, and it just worked.
Right.
And that's not to say that we didn't do some horrific hours
Oh no,
at times.
we had all times horrific hours, but if you needed to go at 4 o'clock to watch a basketball game, that was fine. But we knew we had to get our work done, so if that meant after the kids went to bed at 8, you came back and worked till midnight or 2 in the morning, that's what you did.
So is preparing the budget the most arduous thing? No.
I think, to me, I mean, it's they're integrated processes, you know, the budget and then the financial reporting piece and the accounting work is all kind of integrated together. But some of the long hours and the tough part are probably preparing the financial reporting and keeping up on the accounting piece to prepare the financial reports. And Gary will say, I mean, right when Gary was leaving, the new reporting model was coming out, and he helped us get through some of that new governmental reporting model. But it's just continued. I mean, I know everybody's probably seen it in the workforce, but transparency and everybody wanting to know what's going on, so it's continued changing with reporting. So I think we spend a lot of long hours. It's not always fun, the work that we do, because or not always the best timing, I would say, not fun, but you're there during the summer when everybody's out on vacation, and you're there at Christmas time finishing the financial reporting and the audit. So it's kind of a tough time, but I would have to say the financial reporting piece is part of that.
That's my recollection. One of the things that we did when we were trying to modernize the accounting system was participate in government finance officers program for excellence in financial reporting, and that's kind of what she's referring to. It's a long and arduous task to put that together. It's just the amount of information in there is just incredible.
You can't just guess at the numbers, I suppose.
Oh no. Then you have an audit, independent audit going on simultaneously as you're doing your reporting.
Oh my.
So I think we're on the 31st. I think we have 31 CAFR awards now. The
Really?
award from the government finance.
There's like 6 when I left.
Yeah. And so there's 31 years of that. And then we moved into, so the Government Finance Officers Association moved into the same thing they do with budget and performance budgeting awards on that. And I think we're on the 6th year of getting that budget award.
The interesting part of that was the CAFR, that report that she's referring to. Had we not had it, we would not have been able to issue the bond, make the bond issue that purchased and improved the water company. We couldn't get it underwritten in Montana. We had to go back to New York and walk the streets of the financial section, checking out all these firms. And the first thing they wanted to see was the GFOA report.
Wow. So thank God.
So that's always been key and very important. Make sure we always achieve that award, because then it's helped us in many bond issues. So we went from acquiring the water company, doing 2 separate bond issues with the water company, right into doing Silver Lake, REC. Gary worked on that project, and we got REC here. So that took 3 bond issues that we have there within like a matter of maybe 7 or 8 years.
And then you refied a couple more.
And then we had landfill, but all of them we were successful in getting really good interest rates just because of the reporting model. And today we've found that success too. I mean, with the pool bonds, with additional, we can always take advantage of refunding now. It's kind of iffy if you can refund a bond issue, but we've been successful with low rates basically because of that reporting model. And then moving into the performance budget and doing the award program for the performance budget, we've been able to be successful in the bond market.
So it's not just a trophy on a shelf, it has financial rewards.
No, as a matter of fact, we never even used to hang them on the walls. And I came back and they were hanging on the walls. But no, our goal is mainly to get tax savings.
Right.
Like the one last issue, I think we saved $760,000 or something.
I don't think people know that.
Our rating, we get really good bond ratings with it. And now you're required to report. So back in the day when Gary and I first started working on them, and we had J.R. Richardson in with us, we had to report out to different depositories. We had to send the CAFR to different depositories, and then with ASME, we had Sumo Total Bank in Japan that we had to send to. Do you remember doing those? So we had to just send out to them. Well, now it's an online transparency portal that you have to, it's called Emma. And the IRS has now jumped in to more, they usually stay out of governments when they do financial reporting, but now it's more active, and they play a more active role, and you have to post when you issue bonds, you have to post if you're going to default on bonds. Now with COVID, a lot of communities are finding hardship with debt payments, and they have to post everything out there, and you have to disclose so the underwriters can go back and decide if they're going to change your ratings.
Wow.
So it's really important that we get to post that every year.
What a complex job, jeez. So have things changed much since you were Director Gary, or, because you're sort of, you got that continuity going, and you're with Murdy, so you're practically, it's almost quasi-governmental. So, just reporting and that sort of thing, or?
Some of the reporting has definitely changed. There's more. I think it is just the main thing is the transparency and the ease of access for information. And people want more because they see it, so they want more. And so I think the Government Accounting Standards Board, GASB, and then GAAP as well, the accounting, they all see ways to change things that are more transparent and easier for people to read. So there's always new reporting requirements and more reporting requirements and compliance work that's required. But I think we all have the same struggles. I remember back in the day, Gary can jump in working on the budgets, and it was I-105. It was an initiative that didn't matter how much our mill value came in at, we were bound by the number of mills that we levied every year. So we had to work within that confinements of the budget, and now it's just shifted to a mill levy cap that floats up and down with a little bit of inflation factor. But I think we've always had the same type of challenges that you just never know what's out there going to happen.
I know one of the challenges you have, I just observed this, is, you'll have the budget, you're rolling forward, and then the council or a department goes to the council, they want more money for something they're to change. And I've heard you, say, you voted on this budget, sort of thing. So do you have a lot of that, or where you have to, having to try to accommodate later requests?
And I think Gary had it too.
Yeah, I think
It's
that's
natural.
I think it's really natural.
typical of any system.
Right.
I think we had that part. I would have to say has not changed much. I mean, Gary, myself, and when I worked for Gary, you wanted to accommodate as much as you could as far as capital needs or what departments needed. But at the end of the day, the first layer is, what does the chief executive want as far as potential tax increase or no tax increase? Or when we were bound under like I-105 and the mill levy cap, you're only allowed a certain amount of money, so how are you going to spread it? And that comes down to the chief executive and the council first. So you have to look at them first, and they kind of give you that direction of no tax increase, live with what you got, rate increases. And then at the same time, you're dealing with inflation.
Oh, yeah.
17 different unions.
Yeah.
Wow.
Have different union contracts.
Right.
So you have all that to deal with to try to, and I don't think that has not changed.
No.
Wow.
How many unions are still 17?
There's 17.
Wow. I thought they would have reduced the number by now.
Yeah.
In my recollection, the best budget negotiators were the police department. One year when Bob Torovich was sheriff and Turtle Johnson was his department budget manager, came in to negotiate. They came in and sat down, the mayor is there, I was there, sat down at the table and said, okay, let's budget it out. And Turtle Johnson brought his gun out, put it on the table and said, I think this will go real smooth.